Welcome to Often Pacing on Tab Radio Racing and Sport. Tim Walker will be joined by Matt Young and Oliver Cownie as they delve into the form for today's Pinjarra harness meeting, as well as an early look at tomorrow's meeting at Gloucester Park. We are Often Pacing.
It's a very good morning, everybody. Welcome along to another edition of Often Pacing this Monday morning off the back of another terrific night here at Gloucester Park on Friday night, the start of what is going to be a really good couple of months of racing. Of course, with our three-year-old features on the way, the Oaks and also the Derby, the Pacing Cup, and the lead-up races aren't far away either, and it'll roll into the four-year-old series. And it started off with a familiar theme, Gary Hall Senior and Gary Hall Junior combining with Cyclone Geordie to take out the Golden Slipper on Friday night. 1 of 6 on the night for Gary Hall Junior, a pretty big night in the bike for him. Lots to work through on the program this morning. Stewie McDonald's going to join us ahead of his drives today at Pinjarra and also a look towards Gloucester Park tomorrow night. He'll also be able to give us a bit of an idea on how things are behind the scenes with some of those stars at the Hall Senior stable. So looking forward to catching up with him. But without further ado, let's welcome in Matt Young and also Oli Cownie to the program. Matt, to you firstly. Good morning once again.
Good morning, Tim, Ollie, everyone tuned in.
And Oli Cownie, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tim. Good morning, Matt.
Well, gents, let's get stuck into a look back on Friday night and what we took out of Gloucester Park. We'll get some horses to follow from you both in a matter of moments, but it was all about Cyclone Geordie. Matt, it was set up by the barrier draw clearly for something like this to happen. Barrier number 1, he looked to be the standout on paper going into it, and when he drew barrier 1, he was always going to be very hard to beat. Were you impressed by the way that he did it?
I mean, it was a bit of a paid trial for him, basically, in terms of his abilities. I think he would have won from anywhere. And when the barrier draw came out, won last Tuesday, it was just all over. So he's an incredibly special horse. We can see that by the price tag, and the way he won first up was outstanding, and he was able just to dominate. And yeah, it was like track work, 38 lead time, then 31.2, 30.2, 28.1, 27.8. He's just done it so easily and been able to beat his rivals comfortably. So, look, he's got bigger things on the horizon, and he looks to be a serious talent.
What's the ceiling for him, Ollie, do you think?
I thought he was just exceptional. As Matt said, he was really dominant there, Cyclone Geordie, and he's got fantastic gate speed as well, which means he'll probably be able to find the front from most draws and will make him awfully hard to beat. It was obviously a bit of a messy race there in behind them in the early stages with a few horses doing things wrong, but, you know, all honours the winner, just way too good in the end. And as Matt said, I think from any draw would have been too good for that field.
Matt, going forward, obviously you clearly would take Cyclone Geordie, but the fillies have done a terrific job this year, and speaking to the night of the Westbred in the parade ring, and you thought that this might be a year for the fillies to match it with the boys, and they've run 2 and 3. They've done a terrific job, reining, and captains have time.
Yeah, and from the bad draws as well, Tim, they threw caution in the wind, both of them, and were assertive with their drives to get into good positions, and I thought Rainette was brilliant. Thought there was a chance that she might have been able to get leaders back there momentarily, but she wasn't able to do so. She sat one out and one back, and she's really been the benchmark for the fillies. She's won the Champagne Stakes, she's won the Westbred Classic, second in the Golden Slipper. You can't really ask for a much better of a season for her. I think Copperhead Lady's just as good as Captains Have Time and Rainette as well. So, yeah, I think the fillies have just been absolutely outstanding. It was just wonderful to see those 2 fillies in the race from bad draws put up such wonderful performances.
Who's the standout filly for you? It's a good bunch to be working with there. You mentioned Copperhead Lady. Is it nose in front, or do you lean to a Rainette, Matt?
I like the versatility of Rainette.
Yep.
I think her gate speed and the way that she just drops a bit once she gets into a position. And look, I would say, as it stands right now, well, I think quite clearly, and I don't think she'll be beaten, but she should be 2-year-old filly of the year. She's beaten the boys. She's won a Group 1 and second in the Golden Slipper. So I guess she's she's the one with the scores on the board and the runs on the board. So I think, Rainette's the one to take.
Did you have a thought on this, Ollie?
I personally think that Rainette is definitely the standout as far as 2-year-olds go, but the one I'd want to be taking home and going with forward is definitely Copperhead Lady. I think as she learns to race, she'll be a really nice horse, and she's just doing things wrong at the moment and isn't putting it all together, but I think when she does, she'll be a really nice horse.
Just having a look as well at the nominations for this week for the 2-year-old race at Gloucester Park. We see Belly Up, Captains Have Time, Express Party, Rocky Maguire, also Mad Monday, all out of the Golden Slipper on Friday night. So potentially a small but select little field that could be going around in this Friday night's 2-year-old event at Gloucester Park. All right, just a word then. The other key event on the evening was the Past President's Cup, Ollie, Mr. Smarty. So he had to do it the hard way after Sangway Real was able to find the top. How impressed were you by the performance of Mr. Smarty?
There was probably a few nervous moments there in the early stages when he did get crossed, Mr. Smarty, but really it was just extremely impressive, and he really made a statement there by he just ran them into the ground in the end. They all really had their chance behind Mr. Smarty to get him, and he was just too strong. I think Tricky Mickey, he was on his back in the early stages, and, there'd probably be some argument to say that Tricky Mickey may have been able to knock him off that cold sit, but when he made the break, there was just nothing else that could run him down the end. He was extremely impressive, and he looks a big player going forward in all the Cups races.
Exactly right. And Matt Jr. made point of it in his post-race interview on Friday night. He said when Senior comes out and says that I've got one that I want to set for the Pacing Cup, we shouldn't doubt him, should we?
No, and I think what I like mostly about Mr. Smarty is he's still quite green in certain aspects of his racing style, and I think the day that the penny completely drops, it's for him to be doing what he's doing now, and I think that there's even further improvement in just his racing manners. He's an absolute star of a horse, and what we've seen him do already has been so exciting, but he's just going to get better and better. So I think Junior's got some big decisions to make heading towards the Nugget.
Exactly right. We put that question to him, Mr. Smarty or Never Ending, and fair to say it was not a clear-cut answer that we got from Junior, but there's a lot to work through for him. You're right, Matt, and what a spectacle that would be if we could see those two clashing once again, having already clashed in the Derby previously. All right, let's get into some horses to follow. We've got plenty to work through here before we look ahead to Pinjarra and also to Gloucester Park. Let's get Ollie, to you firstly. Your horses to follow from Friday night's meeting.
In race 2, I thought once Soho Farstone was able to find the front, he was going to be awfully hard to beat, and it was hard to see anything really getting past him there. But I was looking for the placings, and Illawong Mustang was shuffled back, 3 back to pegs, and it looked a bit awkward for him, and I thought he might have run a good 4th or 5th, but in the end, he was picked up really nicely and actually ran past the favourite, Frisky Sticks, in the late stages, and he's a horse that has really good gate speed, Illawong Mustang, and he appears to be racing at his near absolute best. So I think going forward, he can earn in similar races to this at a decent place price, and he could pop up and definitely win a decent race. So I'd definitely keep following Illawong Mustang.
Yep.
In the next race, I've got race 3. I thought this horse was super impressive and appears to just now be racing at his absolute peak. His last 2 runs have been fantastic. Ideal Tomato. He worked off the gate and found the spot 3 back to pegs in what was a really good drive there for Gary Hall. I thought he is a horse that probably doesn't in the past do it at both ends, but on Friday they ran along. They ran pretty steady, even sectionals there, and he was able to still finish off the race really strongly. That was run by Rock Me Over, who's been in fantastic form and really deserved that win. But Ideal Tomato, when he saw clear running, he was really hitting the line strongly. And I think going forward, he's another horse that has fantastic gate speed. So if he's able to get a draw, then he can win a race that's similar to this one. And then my last horse to follow was out of race 9. I thought Let's Get Rockin' was a real eye catcher there. He was near last on the pegs. Emily said before the race that they'd like to sit him up and just see him run a better race there, and they did sit him up, and he went fantastic. He was hitting the line really strongly. They didn't go that fast through the race, so it didn't really set up that well for a horse to be hitting the line like that. But he was a real eye catcher and wasn't far off grabbing Lamandia for second there.
All right, so that is Illawong Mustang, Ideal Tomadoo, and also Let's Get Rockin'. Matt, what about you from Friday night? Are you starting with a previous winner of the Golden Slipper?
I am indeed, and that's Vegas Strip. I've been highly critical, I guess would be the right term, of how he's come back. I think he just excited so much as a 2-year-old, and I've just been a little bit disappointed with his runs since coming back from a break, and I just really liked what I saw on Friday. He came from back in the field, 3 wide, sustained the run, and really fought it out well to the line. I think going forward, that's such an encouraging effort. We speak about horses with gate speed. He's got a ton of it, and he's just got a great deal of versatility. But I think it was just the encouragement that he's given me going forward out of that run that I think he'll be winning very soon. Stormy Skies, she was brilliant in her performance. She's in the breeze chasing a quick lead time, genuine tempo throughout with Blaze Coops over racing out in front, and had the temerity to fight on. Just peaked that last little 50. I think she's going to win one very soon, but she's racing as well as she's ever raced. We've tipped her before, so just got to keep following her. And Rockmaster, I really like his performance. He's got really good gate speed in his own right. He was able to get across to the top. He absorbed pressure. He was still there at the finish. He stuck on really well. I think Rockmaster's heading in the right direction. So Vegas Strip, Stormy Skies, Rockmaster, my 3 to follow out of Friday night.
Terrific. All right, that is for Matt. Now we turn our attention to Pinjarra today, and you've got 3 races each to focus on. Ollie, we'll start off with you because you're going bright and early, race number 2 on this Big 10 event program.
Yeah, it's a good little trotting race, this one. There's a few horses that are going quite well in it. I thought Sunny Little Rose was really well suited in this field, though. She was a great effort 2 starts back behind Elegant Peak, who won really impressively on Friday before she wasn't suited from the mobile last start, starting on equal terms with That's Not My Gate, who usually races off big handicaps, so can be forgiven for that effort. She comes off 10-metre handicap here and appears really well suited. The main dangers probably look to be the ones off the handicaps. Saloon has been going really well, but faces 30-metre handicap over the short course, and that could potentially be the difference, I thought. And Sunny's Little Road has a nice turn of foot, so if she's sat up, gets a nice run, she can be finishing over the top of them late.
All right, on to race 3.
Race 3, there's one here which I thought would go around pretty decent each way odds. I think it's a 1x3 type bet. Rolling in Class, I thought could settle three back the pegs here behind Pocketful of Posy and Seaside Joe, who generally likes to, it seems, run along in her races. So I thought that could set it up really well over the mile for Rolling in Class to just run on into a place there, and could be pretty decent odds, as I said. And I think the horse is definitely going a lot better than its numerical form. It's just not had a lot of luck with the draws. Last start, tried to work forward, but just couldn't get in and was forced to the rear of the field and made up some late ground. But I think in this race over the mile, looks really well suited. And I'm not sure if I can win, but if the gaps appear, should be running on into second or third.
All right. And race 5, the last of your plays.
Race 5, I thought a horse in this race, Sounds Treacherous, went really well last start. Looked the winner, I thought, a few times in the race and just couldn't quite finish them off. Did all the work there in the breeze and, was travelling quite well the whole way. Think she can find the front in this race. She's got fairly good gate speed, and if she was able to find the front, would be really hard to beat. I thought that a Duke to Be was probably the main danger and may have just had his chance there last start when leading them up. So I'm probably happy to be against him at a short quote, but respect he does look a good chance in this race. So I'm happy to be with Sounds Treacherous on the basis that she can find find the front and control and hopefully be too good for them there.
All right, so that's Sunny's Little Rose in race number 2, rolling in class from a real place-heavy point of view in race number 3 for Ollie, and then Sounds Treacherous, if we can find the front there, hopefully have some success in race 5. Matt, you're also going to race 5, but you're going in a different direction.
Yeah, and I'm going to change things on the fly here because I think he's too short a Duke to be, so...
Okay.
I'm going to change it up and throw in race 2, number 5, He's a Wizard. Thought He's a Wizard gets a really good opportunity here off the front line. And he has got the ODS step, but he just seems to do things a little bit better in the stand. So happy to be with him. There we go. Later in the day to race 6. Amaretto Angel, I thought could burn across some lead. I thought was a good place chance. A little bit fitter. Irresistible should be winning. Princess Michaela looks top 2 chance, but there's a big chance for Amaretto Angel to be able to run into the top 3 here. And race 9, I can understand why there's money for them. You came along, but I'm very keen on Soho Moonraker, and I would think that he's now quite clearly the best bet of the day. Race 9, number 9, Soho Moonraker. So those are the 3. Soho Moonraker win. Amaretto Angel, race 6, number 4, place. And race 2, number 5, He's a Wizard, win. But he's probably going to be one hand covering the eyes, sort of watch and hope. Okay, all right. And just on a Duke to be, who you had as your best bet on the Sports Daily a little earlier on, $1.55 at the moment with a Tab Touch. So that is for Matt today. Now, we turn our attention to Gloucester Park tomorrow night. And Matt, we'll go to you firstly because your first one comes up in race number 2 tomorrow night. Yeah, I'm with Alpha Prince. I thought, apologise being first up, Alpha Prince might be able to work his way to the top. There's a little bit of pressure, which will be coming forward out wide on the track. He's a pretty good front runner, Alpha Prince, and I think his last few runs have been full of merit, and I think he'll go pretty good in this race. So I thought race 2, number 2, Alpha Prince was the way to go there. And then we move on to race number 7, where I thought Ruya was a really good chance in this race. There's some speed underneath. Kinky can be a little bit hit and miss just with her gait, which is a little bit of a concern. And I thought Ruya is getting better and better with more racing. She might go around as second favourite in this event, and I thought it'd be a really big chance to get the job done, race 7, number 8, Ruya. So hoping she's second favourite, and I'm happy to take the favourite on from the good draw with Ruya. So race 7, number 8, and race 2, number 2. All right, beautifully done. And Ollie, you're going to start your night off in race number 4.
In race 4, I've got Pete Honor in this race, and I think he's a 3-year-old that's really blown under the radar. He hasn't been far off some of the better 3-year-olds. He was really good, I thought, 2 runs ago behind Alta Tribute, who was a really impressive winner again on Friday. And I think he's going extremely well. He just hasn't had a lot of luck. He drew poorly last start at Bunbury in the Battle of Bunbury, and he couldn't get into that race, but he wasn't beaten a long way. And I think in this race he should find the top. He's a horse with good gate speed, and if he's able to find the top, then I think he'll be extremely hard to beat. His main danger does look to be Franklin Denario, who's off the back row, and Rocks the World, who's been extremely good last few starts but draws gate 9. So I think Pete Honor, he gets his chance to get back into the winner's stall there. All right, and to race number 10, we end the night just after 9 o'clock here tomorrow night. In race 10, I've got For Us Get the Booth. I thought it was fantastic last start on debut for the Ryan Bell stable with Carl Symington taking the drive and zipped across and took a sit, and then in the later stages you sort of wondered, they hadn't gone that fast, you wonder whether she'd be able to get up, and she really zipped home quite sharply and ended up winning easily and zipped home a 27.7 last quarter, which is really sharp for this sort of grade. So I think if she's on her best behaviour again, which she looked to be last start, then she can find the front in this race and they won't catch her off last start. All right, so that is Pete Honor in race 4, who, you're right, is going along very nicely, and Get the Booth
in race number 10. All right, Ollie, just before we let you go, we've got the WA Oaks Barrier Draw. It's coming up tomorrow morning on Tab Radio. Look, Waterloo is the natural number one choice, but was obviously beaten last time out. If it wasn't Waterloo, who would you like to be having going into the WA Oaks pre-barrier draw?
I think Lion Queen is a horse that's just been really not suited by recent barrier draws. I think if she was able to get the barrier draw advantage over Waterloo, then she could run a really good race and potentially challenge her in the later stages.
All right, Matt?
Madam Publisher, I thought she's been one that's really come through this preparation. She's elevated nearly every time we've seen her go out on the racetrack, and I thought she was, well, if she got a run in the Danish Daughter, I think she probably wins the race. She was very unlucky, caught up behind the brick wall. But, I've just liked what I've seen of her, and Stewie does a good job with his small stable, and I thought she'd be peaking at the right time.
Stewie's coming up next. I was having a look at the noms for the Oaks earlier on. So there's that touch and go run, whether she does gain a start. She was in the 12, in the 12, obviously, a couple of weeks ago, as you mentioned, Matt. Looking at a couple that are in the 12 for the third rankings, they haven't even been nominated for the race this Friday night. So you would expect that would be enough for Madam Publisher to gain a start, and we can certainly ask Stewie how she's going behind the scenes. All right, Ollie, enjoy the week ahead.
Thanks very much, Tim.
Matt, we'll catch you on the Racing WA Harness X page today for full coverage of Pinjarra.
Cheers, mate.
All the best. There is Matt Young and Oli Cownie with their look at Pinjarra and Gloucester Park. Stick with us. Stewie McDonald, he comes up next.
You are listening to Off and Pacing on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Great to have your company on Off and Pacing. We're about to have a chat to Stewie McDonald. Don't forget, if you missed any of the tips from Matt and Ollie, you'll be able to catch this on the podcast in just a matter of moments' time. tabradio.com.au, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. That's the place to go to get all of your podcasts for everything that happens here on Tab Radio. All right, let's get to Stewie McDonald to get a little bit of a snapshot of his drives over the next 24 to 48 hours, and we can ask about his 3-year-old filly as well. Stewie, good morning to you.
Yeah, morning, Tim. How are we?
Going along very, very nicely. Matt just mentioned earlier on that if it wasn't Waterloo going into the Oaks this week, he'd like to have Madam Publisher. How's she going behind the scenes?
Yeah, all's well with her. I'm really, really happy with the way she track worked on Saturday. It's probably one of her better workouts she's had. I did get a little bit delayed with her coming in this time. First couple of runs probably didn't look that impressive, but she got delayed with a slight virus when I first went to start hobbling her. So she's come on well now. In her last run, she got held up, and track work's been good since. So really happy going into this week. All
right, let's hope that she is a part of it on Friday night. Just on Friday night, we saw the Golden Slipper, obviously Cyclone Geordie. You get a chance to have a good look at Cyclone Geordie behind the scenes. What sort of a horse are we going to see here in the West long term? Because it's only been a very little sample size that we've got so far, but it's been pretty good.
Yeah, he's obviously a really impressive horse. I only sat behind him once in track work while Junior was away, and Senior said to me, "What do you think?" I said, "I think he was cheap," just on the way he felt in track work. So so far he's proven that to be right. But Senior's said that the only thing that worries him is obviously the Art Majors going forward, but should get at least a really good 3-year-old year out of him at the worst. So he's going to be a pretty impressive horse, and I thought he was good enough to, the way he went on Friday. You could match it up with the Eastern Staters, in my opinion, but that's not for me to decide.
All right, now obviously in that race, you were with Belly Up. It's clearly just one that we put in the forget file, and a horse that's done a really good job this year, obviously winning the Westbred.
Yeah, he's still a nice horse, Belly Up. He just got a little bit too keen at the start when the couple outside of him rushed forward, and he just wanted to race him too hard and mix his gait. But he's done a really good job. So I drove him, I think, first or second up, and Denny said he's been a real hard case to get going. So he's done a massive job, and I've done a really good job with him to get him to run second in the Group 1 and then win one. So he's a nice horse on the way up.
Yeah, absolutely. He went so very close for you, the start prior to the Westbred success, obviously, and we'll just forget about Friday night. All right, let's turn our attention to today, if we can, and see if there is a winner or two there for you. at Pinjarra. It's a busy day for you on the way. We might start, if we can, in the opening event where you team up with Mickey B. Swift off the back line. Would you be thinking, given it is your first drive behind this colt today, is it just a case of perhaps heading to the pegs?
I'll probably be guided by Steve a lot. I haven't spoken to him yet, but its trials read up good. That it ran on 57 and looked like I don't know how it did it. I couldn't see, but it looks like it probably goes all right. It has shown some ability in the past, so he'll give me a good guide on it. But I can't imagine he'll want to go to the peg, especially if the 2-horse that's drawn one isn't holding up. But we'll see where we get to. But he's got to be some sort of chance in what's not an overly strong field. There's a couple of decent ones in there, but I thought he was half a chance if he goes up to his trial form. All right.
Seaside Joe, does it look a winnable assignment for Seaside Joe today in race number 3?
Yeah, this looks like it's race for sure. Should be able to get it out the gate and lead, hopefully, and from there it should make every post a winner.
Yep, not too many concerns there at all for you. You're pretty confident?
Yeah, I think so. On its last start, if it hasn't gotten there, unless it somehow lost a leg from its last start, running second, it should be leading and winning that field.
All right, on to race number 4. I Don't Want to Be a Pirate. Obviously, went back to trials last week. Could you give him an each way sort of a push today?
Yeah, I'd give him an each way push. I'd give him a winning chance. He was able to lead. He actually trialled really nice. He actually has a bit of ability, but he's just a big gangly horse and didn't really suit the Calibarian track being out wide, which is why he had to go back to trials. But on his home track, he should be a lot better than Miles suit. Good draw, and if he gets to the front, he'll be right in the finish.
All right, then we get on to race number 5, where you have Cappy the Fiery here, drawn barrier number 3, that tricky barrier number 3. If you could run into the top half of the field, would you have done a good job here?
Yeah, that'll be a pass mark, I think, top 5, 6.
All right. On to race 7, Tempt the Stars. Each way claims?
He's going along okay, but he probably struggles when he's this close to town. He needs to be probably on the outer tracks to be a real chance of winning races.
All right. And would you need it to be run a little bit upside down for Recover Lover to be a chance today?
Yeah, she's going really well, but this is a tough field. She's drawn bad too. Had she drawn a pegs run, she could run a place, but it looks pretty tough from out there. All
right, we might just switch your attention to tomorrow night if we can and get a little snapshot on your drives here. Got a Good Warhol, is racing well. Tricky draw to overcome tomorrow night, but is it that type of even affair that you could see Got a Good Warhol filling a spot in the minor end of the money here?
Yeah, there's always a chance with him. He's an honest enough horse. He can always get himself into the races. It is tough from out there over the mile, but he does have real good gate speed. Not sure how we'll play it just yet, but yeah, he'd just be an each way chance if he gets the right run.
And can the same be said if Jimmy Rocks gets a crack at them from the back line, that you can be right there in the thick of things too?
Yeah, he was really, really good first up. Kim told me to set him up, so I put him straight into the breeze, and he ran a really good race. And hopefully from barrier 10, I don't end up in the breeze this time. But it looks like Pete Donner will lead that and be pretty hard to beat. But yeah, he's certainly a place chance.
All right. Now, let's get on to race 5, Thompson Bay. How did you assess the first up performance there a few weeks back?
Yeah, he was good. He definitely needed the run. He probably need a couple more, going off what Hayden's told me. I don't think we'll get to the lead, so it doesn't look like he's probably it is a sort of a winnable race, but it doesn't look like it'll be easy for him. Just let him come out the gate a little bit, see where we get to, and hopefully don't get shuffled too far back. But he is going well. Obviously, he's a Metro class horse. He's just got to get back to that form, which I think he will in a few starts' time. Maybe not tomorrow night, but he'll start getting better.
All right, Abundance has the inside draw. Can Abundance run into the money as well tomorrow night?
Yeah, I was pretty happy with it on Friday. I got really stirred up with the false start and the 10 attempts to circle and start again. So she went good to run where she did. She's got good gate speed. She should lead that, and then if Patch comes forward, we'll sit on that. Other than that, we'll probably hold everything else out.
All right.
So she should run second or third.
And back behind Better Than Secret as well in the last tomorrow night. But from the outside, draw is ODM, obviously. So is it just a case of perhaps needing a few favours in the run here?
Yeah, for sure. She's probably just only a top 4 chance if things go her way.
All right. Who's the standout? Do we go with Georgie's one today?
Yeah, Georgie's one day looks the best one. It's the shortest price, so hopefully it's the best one.
All right. Good luck and all the very best going towards Friday night as well. And we look forward to catching up with you again here on Tab Radio very soon.
No worries. Thanks, Tim.
Stewie McDonald with us on the line, having a look at a busy couple of days for him. All right, that's us done for another week off and pacing. I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Leah Ernest for race day. And don't forget that we will be back again next week in the build-up to the first of our $100,000 free-for-alls, the key first of our key lead-ups to the WA Pacing Cup next month. It is on the horizon. Short break. Stick with us here on Tab Radio this Monday morning.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.